can't believe what's happening with this organization right now. If you thought we were going to take a break after a historic season, you are completely crazy. Because I'm about to tell you 3 pieces of news that will change everything you thought you knew about this team. First, the future of Brian Robinson in this franchise is more uncertain than ever, and I'll explain exactly why. Second, the situation with a certain cornerback who cost valuable capital is reaching a critical point that could define our defense. And third, the dream we all had of acquiring one of the best pass rushers in the league has just turned into a nightmare. And you cannot miss a second of this, because each of these news will directly impact our chances in 2025. Look, after 3 seasons of watching Brian Robinson, I think we finally have to be honest about what this guy represents for the future of the Commanders. And you know what? The reality isn't as pretty as some want to paint it. Robinson has been RB29, RB21, and RB43 in the last 3 seasons. Those numbers don't lie, folks. His best year was 2023 with over 13 fantasy points per game. But here's what really worries me. We have never seen a fully healthy season from this running back. In 2022, his rookie season, he was recovering from bullet wounds before the start of the season. In 2023, when it finally seemed like he was under control, he injured his hamstring in week 13, and in 2024, multiple lower body injuries kept him limited to the entire season. But do you know what the biggest problem is? The evolution of the modern game. Running backs who can't catch passes are being systematically phased out of the league. And Robinson, as hard as he runs between the tackles, simply isn't strong in that aspect of the game. Now we have Austin, Ekeler, who yes is older but is still stealing those short targets Robinson needs to be relevant. And now we add Deebo Samuel. Do you think Robinson is going to see 35 receptions again? I tell you no. The addition of Jackery Crosky Merritt in the late rounds of the draft shouldn't scare anyone immediately, but if this rookie surprises people, there's another mouth to feed in the backfield. And do you know how much Robinson is worth, right? Now in dynasty leagues, he's valued the same as the draft pick 2.07. That's the range of Jack Beck and Kyle Williams. Would you trade a veteran running back for a day 2 draft receiver? If you're a team that wants to win now, Robinson can be useful as depth. But if you're rebuilding or an average team, this is the perfect time to sell him for future draft. Capital, do you think Robinson can be the piece that takes us to the next level? If that surprises you, wait to hear this, because what's coming will directly impact our defense. Commanders fans, brace yourselves, because this hits harder than a Brian Orakpo blitz. The dream we all had of bringing Trey Hendrickson to Washington has just turned into a nightmare. And all because of a move the Bengals made on Monday. Cincinnati released their starting linebacker GERMAINE Pratt, saving almost $6 million. And you know what that means? They now have the cap space to extend Hendrickson's contract and keep him in Cincinnati. I'm going to explain why this is devastating for us. Hendrickson has been in a contractual standoff with the Bengals all off season. The guy wants new money, and Cincinnati hadn't given it to him. But now, with Pratt gone and $6 million freed up, they suddenly have room to negotiate. And do you know what's most frustrating about all of this? Pratt was their leading tackler. The Bengals let go of their best defensive linebacker, not for lack of talent, but to create space to keep Hendrickson. That's an organization that knows how to prioritize. Meanwhile, here in Washington, we've already spent significant capital on Deebo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil. Adam Peters has been aggressive, yes, but did we have the resources to go after Hendrickson too? That's the $1 million question. Now I ask you this. Do you think Peters would have given the necessary picks to get Hendrickson? Because I think so, especially after seeing how he operated this offseason. But it doesn't matter anymore. The pass rush is still a need for us. We have talent, but we needed that elite piece that could change games by itself. Hendrickson was exactly that. And now it looks like he's staying in Cincinnati. Do you think Peters has a plan B for the pass rush? Or are we going to rely on what we already have? But here comes the really crazy part, because if you thought those news were concerning, this last one will define our entire season. And here we get to the heart of the problem, folks. Marshon Lattimore, the cornerback for whom Adam Peters gave valuable trade capital, has a situation that's making everyone in the organization nervous. Lattimore skipped the voluntary OTAs, something he also did in New Orleans in his last years there. But here's the difference. In New Orleans, he had already established his reputation. Here in Washington, he needs to prove that the trade was worth it. John Keane from ESPN said it clearly. For the Commanders to take a big step as a defense, they need strong play from Lattimore. And I completely agree. In his 5 games with Washington last year, Lattimore played with mixed results. Mixed? Folks, we didn't pay for mixed results. We paid for an elite cornerback who can change our defense. The main problem was that hamstring injury that limited him all season. But do you know what worries me more? His contract situation. Lattimore has 2 years left on his contract. $18 million against the salary cap in 2025 and $18.5 million in 2026. But he only has $2 million guaranteed in those 2 years. Do you know what that means? If he doesn't produce, Peters can let him go next spring without dead money ramifications. That is real pressure. Now I ask you this, after years of watching this team suffer with mediocre cornerbacks, we finally have the chance to have an elite one. But what happens if he can't stay healthy? Lattimore needs to show he can play at the level he did when he was considered one of the best cornerbacks in the league. Because if he doesn't, not only do we lose the capital we invested, but we continue with the same problem in the secondary. Joe Witt Jr.'s defense needs to grow in his second year, and a healthy Lattimore is a key piece for that. But if he continues with durability and inconsistency issues, we're going to be in the same situation that led us to make the trade in the first place. Do you trust that Lattimore will resolve his health issues and play at the elite level we need? And there you have it, Commanders fans. 3 situations that will define our 2025 season. Robinson in dynasty limbo, Hendrickson out of reach, and Lattimore in prove-it mode. Do you think Peters has more moves up his sleeve for the pass rush? Do you think Lattimore will finally justify the trade? And what do you think about the future of Brian Robinson with this team? Leave me all your comments below because I want to know exactly what you think of each of these situations. If you think Lattimore will bounce back, give this video a like. If you think we need to look for another option at cornerback, subscribe for more analysis like this. Because folks, we are more than a YouTube channel. We're a community that lives and breathes Burgundy and Gold. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps us grow and continue bringing you the best analysis of the Commanders. And don't go anywhere because tomorrow I have more explosive news that will directly impact our expectations for the season. And remember, hail to the Redskins.